This is the Post Shift Podcast, a raw look at the hospitality industry. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another Post Shift Podcast live stream. It's 2 o'clock on a Monday. A lot of us are staying at home. Just waiting for Trevor to come online. As soon as he comes online, I'll be able to connect him in. So today we're talking to TK from the Donnelly Group, as well as hey Mark, as well as the CPBA. He's the president of the CPBA, and I really wanted to get down. So what I've been doing every day, if you haven't noticed on the Post Shift Podcast audio stuff, well, there's a little bit on YouTube as well, is I'm trying to do a podcast Monday to Friday, touching base with people who are part of the initiative. Hey Sarah, a part of the initiatives, giving back to the hospitality community. I've got the the president Ian Torsteston this Thursday coming up from the BCRFA, so you get some insight from the BCRFA and that sort of thing. So I think that's sort of what I'm going for every single day. So I've got a fair chunk of information coming out there, because there is a ton of information out there, but there's not a lot of information that is backed, if you will. It's a lot of just random websites and bullshit blogs and that sort of thing. So what I'm trying to do is give you as much legitimate information as possible. And I'm still waiting for TK. Where are you, buddy? TK's never done this before, so I'm waiting to see if he knows what to do. I'll be right back. Just give me 2 seconds. Okay. So what I do, if you don't listen to the live, if you can't listen to the whole live stream, I actually turn this into a YouTube video, as well as I post as a podcast. So never fear that you get a bit of FOMO for missing out the live stream. I turn it into a YouTube channel, a YouTube video, as well as a podcast, so you can still listen to all this information. Cam Brown, Man About Town, how are you? Bartender Atlas. I'm just still waiting for TK. He's never done this before, and I don't think he's as communicationally savvy as I am. So I'm just waiting for him to pop up in my feed, and I keep going back to check my messages just in case. So just hang tight. Just double check to make sure TK hasn't snuck in. Nope. There he is. TK is in the house now. TK, how are you, sir?
Doing great, Matty. How are you?
Good. You've never done one of these before?
No, it's first time.
Yeah, I found that they're, to be honest, like even for like phone call recording, this is better audio to play with than recording phone calls.
I'll bet. Yeah, no, I've never had luck with phone call recording. I've got
a nice app, but it doesn't do a great job. So, but I thank you very much for your time. How are you doing?
Yeah, things are all right. Obviously it's a tricky time to be a bartender and be in hospitality, but you know I think the community is pretty strong right now, and you know things are medium, I would say.
Are you still doing work with Donnelly Group?
Yeah, I got a little bit to do. We just launched an online liquor delivery, and we're doing obviously the food takeout from like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Skip the Dishes.
Is it your birthday today as well?
No, July 8th is the birthday.
Oh, Jerry Job, you suck. Oh, Jerry. Well, that's good. It keeps you busy. Have you kept some staff on to be able to pull that off?
It's like skeleton crew, like really, really minimal.
Yeah, because I talked to Ian from BCRFA the other day, and he mentioned how, well, you've got, 20 restaurants and bars across the country now?
Yeah, I mean, it's close to that, yeah.
So you had you're one of the bigger small guys, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it was like in and around 500 employees that got laid off a couple weeks ago.
Wow, that's substantial. So how about just a quick brief, because I'll tag in the podcast we did last year. A quick brief for anyone watching who doesn't know who you are. A quick brief on who you are on a career level, as well as your work affiliation with the CPBA.
Sure, yeah. Trevor, Kallies, the beverage director for Donnelly Group. I've been working with Donnelly Group since 2005. Started at ground room and then moved my way into the position I'm in now. Over that time, I mean, we've done a number of things. We've grown from British Columbia to Ontario. We've got 4 locations out there. Throughout that, I've been working with Tales of the Cocktail on the Cocktail Apprentice program as one of the CAP managers. I've been working with them since 2011, and then the CPBA, since it was founded in 2009, became the president of the BC chapter in 2013.
And you've been the president ever since?
Yeah, I've been working
Wow.
with a really good team of people. Like, obviously it changes, year in, year out, but it's been, the last few weeks have been like really, really good for teamwork and effort being put in.
So the Canadian Professional Bar Association, it's mainly based here in the province, correct? In BC?
I mean, if you had said that a couple of weeks ago, you would have been true. But yeah, I mean, before the COVID shutdowns on like March 16th, 17th timeline, we were just shy of 100 members, and I would say about just over 2/3 of those were based out of British Columbia. And then since then, we've had 400 plus signups across the entire country.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Because you're doing free right now, correct? Free membership?
Yeah, we've waived the $75 one-year membership for the foreseeable future. We don't know when that's going to go back into effect, but we figure with nobody having income in right now, it would be a bit of a weird one to continue to charge membership fees if we were, doing what we're trying to do. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So for the foreseeable future, one-year memberships will be complimentary, and then basically we're just going to be, when their 1 year of sign-up runs out, we'll send out that renewal and see where the interest lies.
So what was the CPBA ever set up for in the very beginning? For people who've never heard the CPBA, and I'm sure there's tons of bartenders who are going to watch this live stream after we get off, what is the CPBA all about? So
the Canadian Bartenders Association was started back in 2009. It was a group of 10 bartenders, some really, really old school Vancouver legends. We got Danny Tatar, Brad Stanton, Jay Jones, Wendy McGinnis. Like, it was an amazing mix of people that got together. We had some goals off the bat that, try to be recognized under the IBA, which, that still is a long-term goal for us, but, not really all of that important any longer, but it's still kind of on the radar. But really what we were trying to do back then was get the bartending industry to be looked at in a more professional manner, right? A lot of people were doing the bartending job and the gig to kind of go from, high school or whatever, turning legal age to get them through that university career and then move on to whatever's next. We were a group of lifers trying to get people to take it seriously. It was no longer one of those professions, in our opinion, that was a stepping stone to a real job. It was something that we wanted to be proud of. We wanted the people around us to be proud of what we were doing. So that was kind of the inception of it. Since then, we've kind of steered it to continue along that profile, but also encourage our community to get a little bit more active in terms of education, information sharing. We've done a number of things, like installed a buy-in for health and medical and critical illness, so our members can opt into that. And then, obviously the product seminars and the, getting brand ambassadors and personalities to come through our areas is really big as well. So
I think 2009, I remember 2009 quite well, because it was when I took over Kallies. Like, even back then, cocktail culture in Canada wasn't still getting taken as seriously as it is now. And I think the kids these days, they've missed out on that thing where everybody, as soon as you become a cocktail bartender, you're automatically legit. And even in 2009, it was still a struggle to make yourself come off as legit with your family and your friends. And like, when are you getting a real job?
Oh man, I started bartending when I was 20 years old. And I think for the first 12 years of going home and visiting family and visiting Christmas, it was still like, so what are you going to do when you grow up? I'm coming home for Christmas and visiting my folks. I'm 32 years old and still getting the same question. It's been a little bit since I've asked it, but I agree with you. It's back into the early 2000s, it was definitely something that there wasn't a lot of credibility, and it seemed like such a small group of people that were doing interesting things back then. And now it's like, man, there's so many book smart bartenders out there that are entering the industry with, what took us, close to a decade to accumulate. They enter the gig with all of that background.
Watch your YouTube channel for the day and you're freaking set.
Oh, and the information's everywhere now. I think there was 3 outlets for us to pull resources from back then.
Yeah.
So
how has the CPBA mobilized a lot? Obviously it has to, but like, has it mobilized a lot heavier with the COVID-19 crisis sort of hitting?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels that way for sure. I mean, our first conversation was literally just the group of the executive boards on a phone call trying to figure out like what should we be doing. And first and foremost, I mean, most of us at that point or had been affected by it in one way or shape or form. So we're trying to figure out what we could do. I mean, first and foremost, we wanted to get some information that was actually credible and realistic out to everybody, because literally everybody was trying to apply for EI and whatever other income relief they could come up with. So, we decided first we wanted to be an outlet for that. So we've been spending pretty much a few hours every day, paying attention to the various, federal and provincial websites, trying to make sure that, whatever information's coming out from those, because, 3 weeks ago it was changing almost on the hour, like what was real and what was true. And it's still really crazy to try to navigate those websites to try to figure out what hospitality workers are actually eligible for. So we're combing through that, trying to figure it out. We with the membership fees being what they were and the money that we did have in our bank account, the other thing we decided to do was just get that money out of our hands and back into the pockets of our paid members. So that was our first step. On April 1st, we cleaned out our bank account and we sent a $50 payment to every member that was eligible at the time.
And what sort of fundraising? Because I know I talked to Smolinski last Monday, and we were chatting about the dichotomy of the USBG in the US and how organized they are, and spread out, plus how much money is in the system for US brands to be spending. How has your fundraising been going?
It's, better. We set out with understanding there could be something coming our way. It was obviously never an expectation, but we understood. We saw what was happening with big brands like Jameson, Diageo, Bacardi in the US, chucking around some crazy numbers. I mean, I think what people have to understand about the difference between USBG and the CPBA is obviously population plays a ton into it, right? We're 36 million people across Canada. They're in the 300s in the US. The USBG has chapters in not just every state, but also major cities and major markets within every state. So we're dealing with quite a dramatically different beast down there. And there's a lot more that brands need to do with the USBG that, brands in Canada don't necessarily need to do with the CPBA or whatever other, organization there might be for bartenders and hospitality workers. So, we didn't really know what to expect, but we've had some crazy, crazy positive support from brands and organizations that have been, it's really heartwarming to see them coming to us and saying, would like to give you guys some money to give to your members. So nice. It's been really great.
And how much from? Are you allowed to say how much and who from?
I can talk about one for sure. I'm sure you've seen the Aviation Gin posts. So Aviation Gin is coming through, and they've donated $10,000 to the CPBA to put through to what the bartender or the Relief Measures Fund is what we're calling it. They're also going to continue that through the month of April, and they're going to give proceeds from every bottle sold across Canada essentially are going to go towards that fund as well to redistribute. We've got a couple other ones we're going to be able to announce very, very soon. But yeah, there's been some really, really positive donations happening.
And so right now, your goal is to get as much fundraising dollars as possible. Is a membership drive, membership drive is a weird one, but are you looking for more members to sort of continue to build the network of bartenders to be able to give relief to?
Yeah, that's the only goal of the membership. For us to take away the membership fees and encourage people to sign up, that was our only goal, was to get more people involved in this program who need to be involved in this program. We started the whole thing by saying, listen, we're going to take care of the people who are already members first, essentially like a fee refund, but still maintaining active membership. And then from there, we're like, listen, if you need help, ask us for help. Obviously, the more people that sign up, it's going to spread that pool a little bit further. But at the end of this game, if we, whatever we retain of the members who are signing up right now and trying to get involved in this bartender community is going to be a positive for us.
Mm-hmm. What's the general feel? Because I talk to my kids here in Victoria every Friday night. We have a bit of a happy hour session, so I get to chat to the youngsters a little bit. What's the general feel for a lot of the younger bartenders, especially in Vancouver and Toronto, where the rent fee, the cost of living is just so ridiculous? And I think we're all a little bit older, so we have sort of things set in place for us to give ourselves a little bit of support. But some of these kids are living paycheck to paycheck, tip night to tip night. What's the
Hmm.
general feeling that you're hearing, like, in return?
I mean, it's like scary for one, for sure, because it's not just, it's not like everybody just got like let go or their bar closed and they can go out and find another job. So like it's definitely scary. It's a scary time to be in hospitality. I mean, it's a scary time to be in any industry
Hmm.
right now. I mean, anybody who's in retail, they're shut down. I mean, I don't have a lot of people outside of the bar community in my social media feeds, whatever. So I'm really all I'm seeing is really the push for hospitality support. But I imagine retail crazy,
Hmm.
right? Like every store on Robson Street right now is boarded up and
Yeah.
closed down. So I mean, it's a scare. Fear is definitely one. Obviously, it's giving people a lot of time to like, look outside for other interests and whatnot. And I can't even count the amount of people that are just suddenly professional bakers
Hmm.
on their social media feeds. But I mean, ultimately, the biggest issue that I'm hearing from most people is that nobody has a timeline.
Hmm.
So we don't know when we're going to reopen, and that's not just for our venues. That's for anything. So really, it's like, what are we actually looking like? Is the biggest point of fear that I hear. It's like, how long is it going to be? Is it another 2 weeks? Is it another month? When it clears out, are we actually going to be able to open the way that we were before, or are we going to have to slow roll it and like start with the limited capacity and then grow from there? There's just so many what ifs right now.
And are you, because obviously you control, like you have a plug-in for all your venues for Donnelly Group. You got Smolensky on the board as well. He's got Sovereign Canada. You got Amber Bruce. Is the CPBA sort of reaching out to some of the small business owners to help as well?
That's not really what we're designed to do. I mean, we're primarily for bartender focused, so we're really trying to put all of our efforts into helping the front line, the hospitality workers. I mean, the small business thing. I mean, I think that's got to be a city, provincial, federal thing. There's not a whole lot that our small community can help with in terms of the business owners, but we are posting on our website anything that's accessible through Restaurants Canada, Hospitality Foundation. Basically, we're looking really closely at like-minded organizations and making sure that at the very least we're sharing the information of what's happening on a bigger level with anybody who might be landing on our webpage.
Mm-hmm. Are you, on a personal level, from a business as well, as like, are you happy with how the government's responded with everything?
I mean, I've heard nothing but red tape when it came to applying for the EI and everything. Like I've heard that there's been a ton of frustration and just a ton of like basically like you click that send button on your form and you really don't know. You're basically it's a hurry up and wait game on whether or not you're actually going to get that number, and then from there you don't know when you're going to get that payout. So, not really happy about that. My understanding with the CERB that launched this morning
Hmm.
was it was night and day different in terms of ease of use. So people were able to fill out that form within 2-3 minutes and get that off. I think the government did an excellent job rolling that out. I know that a lot of people were frustrated with, like if your last name is in the back half of the alphabet, you're probably not excited to wait until Wednesday to fill that out. But, understanding that if the entire country decided to hop on there at the same time and then log in, to not crash that website, I think they did a really good job there.
On a professional level, how do you think this is going to change? Well, I've got you here. Well, how do you think this is going to change the hospitality industry overall?
Oh, I've been trying to think about that. I mean, the number of conversations I've had with people in the last couple of weeks about like what this looks like on the exit door of COVID-19 is really curious to me. I mean, I don't think our industry is going to be the same in a lot of ways. It's hard to say. Like, I don't know if we're going to retain the workforce that we have right now. I mean, it was already such a hard time to keep people in the jobs, like keep servers and bartenders and hospitality workers in longer than like that 18 to 24 months is pretty much that sweet spot of keeping staff, right? So it was already a hard thing to do to keep staff for longer than 2 years, and I think a lot of people are going to be looking like, will they get back into such a fragile industry on the back end of this? I don't know. One thing that we've been trying to figure out what we can get ahead of with the people who are still working for us is what is the health board going to look like? When the health inspector shows up, they're going to be looking for a lot more things, and I imagine those inspections are going to get way more fierce. So, like, that's definitely another thing. We're extremely good at what we do with that kind of thing, but it's going to be really interesting to see how they change on the back end of this. And then, it's just really it's sad and scary to see like who might not come out. Like, which of my favorite bars and restaurants, may not be here in 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah, are you with your staff? Are you sort of keeping them abreast of all the information when you have them? Are you all sort of plugged into it still? You have a lot of
Yeah.
staff, so it's not like a mom and pop
So
shop
on
where you have 50 people.
Yeah, so with the Donnelly Group, we've got an internal website which actually acts as like an info dump for everything. We're posting fairly frequently on there with like the things that matter to the staff. We're also posting like, if there's like a Tales of the Cocktails doing like some kind of live stream, we're
Hmm.
posting that as well. Like we're trying to keep them informed as much as they want to. They have to actually go to the website to like they have to go onto the Donnelly campus to actually take advantage of it. So hopefully, whoever's watching this, hopefully they're actually checking that semi-frequently just to see what's happening in the world. We're trying to send out as many like schedule fly or 7 shifts posts. We've got a internal scheduling app as well that we use. So anytime there's pertinent info, we're dumping it onto their emails. But again, they've actually got to look at their email to check it. I don't think a lot of people are spending a ton of time checking emails these days because, I can speak for myself. What used to be 150 when I woke up is now like 4.
Yeah,
You know,
myself 10 emails.
with them.
So what's the next steps for the CPBA in the next 3 months? Because I'm hearing 20 July 1st is when the sort of that's the light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm the same as you. I can't see that macro yet.
No.
I can help with the micro and help restaurants and bars and stuff and staff in the microcosm, but like that far out, you said every day is new information, there's new everything. What's the next big steps for the CPBA over the next 3 months?
So we're gonna maintain the course we're on right now. We're gonna continue to try to get as much assistance from various things as we can. We're working on fundraising ideas to kind of keep this going as well, to try to maintain like money coming in so we can continue to distribute it to the members who need some help and need to take a trip to the grocery store and whatnot. Long-term planning, I mean, we essentially will obviously want to continue this relief measures fund. It's probably going to take on a different form once everybody's back up and running, and maybe turn into more of a BC Hospitality Foundation model where we're helping, on a committee deciding basis and smaller items and whatnot. But I mean, for us, long-term, more members signed up means more people we can share with, and then obviously a bigger community is a stronger community. So, if we continue the trend that we're at now, we should be closer to 500-600 members by June. So if we've got 600 people across Canada that are invested in this organization, we're going to be able to pull more, demand more. We're going to be able to get more like opinions, get more, more wants, more to-do list items, and give back a lot more, and actually use our relationships and use the community to create a stronger community.
Well, I want to thank you for your time, man. I appreciate it. I know that I hit you up really short notice, and I was like, "Can we do a live stream?"
Yeah, no, it's great, man. I appreciate you giving me the time to come on here and chat with you. It's been
Thanks,
awesome.
man. I'll let you know when I post it all on YouTube and the audio, and I'll link everything up so that I can get as many people membership for you as I possibly can. Okay.
Yeah, the membership committee loves more memberships. It's their favorite thing right now.
Just going through email after email.
Oh, so many forms.
Well, thanks for your time, man. Tell all the guys in the CPBA panel that they've done a great job so far, and to keep it up.
Okay, appreciate that.
Thanks, man. Have a good afternoon.
Yeah, sounds good. See ya.
See you, bud. Bye. Thanks for listening, Pose Shifters. Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. I really enjoy sitting down with friends and peers and just chatting about the industry and getting down to the nuts and bolts of what's really going on out there. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, everything on all the platforms. Just hit it up and I'll do my best to answer any queries or questions you have. I'll see you next week, guys. Bye.